The Weather Authority.
Wet weather off the top at 5. Rain popping up in Collier County right now. Wink News is the Weather Authority, and Chief Meteorologist Jim Farrell is tracking the rain right now.
Well, it's been a while, but we do have rain and a couple of isolated thunderstorms embedded in these rain areas that are tracking from east to west right now. And as you can see, we've got some rain along the Collier County coast. It's been raining on and off around downtown Naples. Got some of that rain that's going to continue across the region, especially near the coast. So as these work their way offshore, they're going to be overlapping some of the more populated areas of southwest Florida and Collier County. So there's the rain from the coast, Naples through Radio Road and as far south as Alligator Alley. Watching some of that rain as it continues. On the northern extension of that rain, we've got some rain along Goodlet Frank, so that could slow you down if you will be traveling along that road in the next few minutes. The other rain area of note is in inland southwest Florida, primarily in Glades and Hendry counties. Here's where the lightning is. So, Immokalee, get ready. This is tracking your way. You may not only have some rain, but some thunder and lightning as well. I'll have another radar update for you coming up. We'll talk about another chance for some dense fog when you wake up tomorrow morning.
The four of them just walk around and they kind of cruise through the neighborhood like it's theirs. They don't care.
A pack of bears terrorize a neighborhood, targeting trash for a midnight meal. It's a growing concern in this one neighborhood.
In the same neighborhood, these bears were spotted. One attacked a man letting his dog out, and the only witness, his 7-year-old daughter.
Sweetie, it's okay. I'll be okay.
Is somebody else there with you to help you?
Yeah, just my 7-year-old daughter.
The attack happened late last night on Dreamcatcher Circle across the street from Gulf Coast High School. Wink News reporter Hannah Vogel is live there now with our top story. Hannah.
The attack happened right here in this neighborhood. One neighbor I spoke to said she saw those same bears digging and rifling through those trash bins right there. And FWC tells me that's exactly what they want you to prevent.
Actually, I let my dog out and walked outside. There was a bear there, and it attacked me.
The real 911 call from a man who got swiped with a bear's paw after letting out his dog late Tuesday night.
Are you bleeding?
And I got a pretty bad slash on my face.
Andrew Munier went to the hospital but has since been released.
This is a very rare occurrence to have any sort of human injury from bears. This is actually the first incident in South Florida since we've been keeping records.
The Florida Wildlife Commission says a bear injuring a human is extremely rare, but for this complex, seeing one isn't.
I looked outside, there was 4 bears in the back of my house eating peanut butter and just like going through our trash.
Christian Pugh says shortly after recording this video, one of the bears rushed towards him.
It's important to be mindful of your trash, not put your trash out until the day it's going to be picked up. Secure the trash as much as you can.
Florida Fish and Wildlife says they're looking to integrate more stable trash bins into communities like these. They tested them out at the Naples Zoo last year and they proved to be efficient. Reporting live here in Naples, Hannah Vogel, Wink News Now.
All right, thanks very much, Hannah. Breaking news at 5, a new clue in the search for a bank robber. Cape Coral police released this sketch of the suspect. They say he walked into the Bank of the Ozarks Monday and demanded money. The bank is near Pine Island Road and Hancock Bridge Parkway. Police say he had what looked like cotton balls stuffed in his mouth to disguise his voice. He said he had a gun but did not show it. Now let's show you that sketch again. If you recognize this man, call Cape Coral Police.
Also breaking at 5, Fort Myers 7-Elevens are the target of an immigration investigation. U.S. immigration agents descended on dozens of 7-Eleven stores across the country before dawn today. They conducted open employment audits and interviewed workers. It's described as the largest operation against an employer under Donald Trump's presidency. The hiring audits could lead to criminal charges or large fines. We're not sure yet exactly which stores those local ones are. He faces spending the rest of his life in prison, and this afternoon a former police officer broke down in tears as he took the stand in his own defense. Ricardo Vasquez Jr. maintained his innocence while testifying. He admitted to watching pornography with his wife, but denied repeating the same acts that he watched on those girls. He broke down crying when his attorney asked him if he molested them.
No. No, he did not.
Jurors also heard from the girls who were not identifying here in taped testimony. One of them describes Vasquez as hairy and disgusting. The case should go to the jury tomorrow.
A man sworn to protect you in an emergency gets caught up in a case of road rage. Venice police say Charlotte County Fire Battalion Chief John Miller got into a heated argument with two teens. Wake News reporter Christy Gross just learned cell phone video helped police make an arrest.
Charlotte County Fire Battalion Chief John Miller now under internal investigation by Charlotte County Human Resources. I spoke to two 17-year-old boys off camera who say they were victims of an unprovoked attack in Sarasota County. In a Venice police report, Miller told officers he thought the teens were trying to ram into his car and later thought the teen driver was reaching for a gun. They say they were here along Venice Avenue and Cherry Street when something set Miller off while they were stopped at this light. A police report says he got out of his car behind them and opened the driver's door. The 17-year-old driver tells me he tried to record what was happening on his phone when Miller snatched it from his hands and took off with it in his car. The teens say they were looking for the phone when they saw Miller's car again. That's when the teens say they followed Miller here to Peach Street and Terrence Drive. They say they just wanted their phone back, but when Miller spotted them, things escalated. According to a Venice police report, Miller came out of a nearby home with a gun. The teens say they stayed in the car. At one point, Miller is accused of reaching in and pulling the teen's hair. That's when police were finally called. Police didn't arrest anyone right away, but they later watched video of the incident on the teen's cell phone. Officers arrested Miller at his home. In Venice, Christy Gross, Wink News Now.
Reached out to Miller for comment, but he declined our request for an interview. He faces a burglary with battery charge.
McDonald's workers caught on camera in a violent fight with a gun are fired. This video shows the two workers brawling behind the counter at this McDonald's location on Santa Barbara Boulevard and Veterans Parkway in Cape Coral. The fight happened on New Year's Eve. No charges were filed. However, the owner told Wink News today they have a zero tolerance for violence and weapons at that restaurant. Kicking off the year praising his administration's accomplishments, President Trump held his first cabinet meeting today. He also looked ahead to possible talks with North Korea and talked about U.S. libel laws. Wink News anchor Amanda Hall in the studio with the day's developments.
And there are a lot of developments. President Trump called 2017 a year of monumental achievement. The president pointed to the tax overhaul and his record on reducing regulation. He took credit for this week's talks between North and South Korea. President Trump spoke with South Korea's leader on the phone today and told him the U.S. would consider talks with the North under the right circumstances. President Trump also revived an old campaign promise to challenge libel laws in the U.S. In a press conference after meeting the Norwegian Prime Minister, the president addressed the Russia probe and a possible interview with special counsel Robert Mueller.
When they have no collusion, and nobody's found any collusion at any level, it seems unlikely that you'd even have an interview. It's a Democrat hoax that was brought up as an excuse for losing an election that, frankly, the Democrats should have won.
In that same news conference, President Trump reaffirmed there would be no DACA deal without funding to build a border wall. Back to you, Lois.
All right, thank you, Amanda. All new at 5, a battle over borders. A feud over 5 acres of land started more than a year ago. Cape Coral annexed this land off Pine Island Road near Matlacha in 2016, but not everyone liked the idea. Tonight, Wink News reporter Taylor Bisacki has the judge's ruling and why this fight might not be over.
We tried hiring attorneys and we hired what we could and we fought the way we could, but the bottom line is it's the judge's decision and we lost. So.
Fueled by protests, passion, and petitions, a year-long battle over the 5 acres of land comes to an end.
We're fighting for what we have, so we just like to keep it that way.
A judge recently dismissed a petition by people living on Matlacha in the local civic association. They wanted to overturn Cape Coral's annexation of land on Pine Island Road entering Matlacha.
Obviously, we don't want Cape Coral coming in and taking over the island or Matlacha, but fighting it with them already owning the property, some of us felt like it was a lost battle.
Cape Coral already owns the land, and now the city's working to rezone and modify its future use. Now many fear more development.
The more people that brings in, obviously, the worse it's going to be.
Based on documents, the judge says the petition won't stand, that its arguments are based on potential speculative future actions without material injuries resulting from the annexation itself. The Civic Association says they're not giving up.
Glad they are going to try to fight for it.
We'll just keep fighting, I guess.
On Matlacha, Taylor Bisacki, Wink News Now.
And the Matlacha Civic Association and people living on the island say they're planning their next move, either asking for reconsideration or taking it to the appeals court. We reached out to the city on what that land might become. We haven't heard back yet.
New right now, the beginning of a state-of-the-art fire station to keep you safe. Tomorrow, crews will break ground on a new station in the Cape right on that land, the first one built since 2009. Wink News reporter Melinda Lee live at the building site right now. Melinda.
And guys, that new Fire Station 11 is slated for this area just behind me along Burnt Store Road. And you're seeing just behind the site the ongoing construction project to widen the road. And both of these projects are to accommodate that fast growing population in this area. Now, I spoke with Cape Coral Fire. They say the plan to add another station started 5 years ago. And last year, the city approved the nearly $4 million required to build station number 11 with funding from the Fire Service Assessment, or FSA. And that new station is going to include a 4-person fire engine, or ALS, with advanced life support unit to treat people in the area. And right now this area is covered by fire stations 7 and 8, so adding another station helps keep each fire district small, which means a quicker response time.
When it comes to your life, you feel that every second counts, and they can always seem like an eternity, so the quicker we can get there, the quicker we're able to provide service, which just always makes people feel better.
So the groundbreaking for that new fire station is going to take place here tomorrow. But tonight on Wink News at 6, I'm going to have more on what it means for the Cape Coral community. Live in Cape Coral, Melinda Lee, Wink News now.
All right, thank you, Melinda. A renewed warning to watch what you click, how you can avoid getting scammed on your own computer.
And practicing for a major catastrophe, the reason you'll see dozens of law enforcement agencies come together in a Fort Myers field.
Stick around. I am tracking rain now, fog in the morning, and colder air by the weekend.
New details, a major security training exercise will cause some traffic headaches. More than 20 agencies will convene on one field to sharpen their skills tomorrow. You'll see SWAT teams and other emergency personnel in this large area on Edison Avenue, just south of Martin Luther King Boulevard in Fort Myers. Wink News reporter Brooke Schaefer live there now. Brooke, agencies are preparing for some really intense scenarios here.
Chris, they absolutely are, and they're also expecting a lot of people to be out here. Fort Myers police tell me they're expecting about 200 people to take part in tomorrow's scenario training. So their mission today is that if this is the road you take on your morning commute, well, you're going to want to find another option. It's about to get even busier on Fowler Street.
That's the big thing to try and say right now. Don't panic.
More than 20 different agencies are set for a lifelike training exercise tomorrow.
Everybody from the Fort Myers Police SWAT team to hazardous environmental teams to a variety of other organizations.
But why here? Well, the train tracks have a lot to do with it. First responders will run through a scenario that starts with a suicide bomber, then suspects taking hostages in a rail car, and eventually a hazmat situation. The whole idea to make it as realistic as possible.
That's best training for all the people involved.
Hazmat is a big deal. It takes out a lot of people real quick. So this kind of training is essential for us. So, maybe the mindset of, it might be delayed a little bit, but our first responders are training for something that may actually happen.
And Fort Myers police tell me a big part of tomorrow's training is to make sure that each agency involved knows how to hand off one case to another agency. For now, live in Fort Myers, I'm Brooke Schaefer, Wink News Now.
All right, thank you very much, Brooke. New right now, Governor Scott is responding to claims the offshore drilling announcement was a political ploy.
Senator Nelson ought to be happy. All right, this is a big day for our state. To get the Secretary of Interior to say that they're not going to do offshore drilling, he should be happy. It's not about politics, it's about policy.
Last night, Senator Bill Nelson called last night's meeting between Governor Scott and Secretary of the Interior Ryan Zinke a political stunt. He said it was orchestrated by the Trump administration to help Governor Scott's political future. Last night, after the meeting, Zinke agreed to take Florida off the list of sites for offshore drilling, just days after announcing the list. The governor says he's just focused on fighting for Florida's environment. He was asked about running for Senate and did not answer the question.
New developments at 5. The U.S. Senate is pressing tech giant Apple for answers about its controversial slowdown for older iPhones. The chair of the Senate Commerce Committee sent a letter to Apple's CEO yesterday. He wants to know if Apple made any effort to notify its customers that recent software updates would slow down their phones. The letter demands a response by January 23rd. Right now, Apple is not commenting on that letter.
The Wink Feeds Families Hunger Walk is right around the corner. Wink News hosts the event on January 20th with the Harry Chapin Food Bank. So far, you have helped us raise more than $130,000, but that's still far short of our goal of $340,000. If you can make a donation or you want to sign up at the walk, all the information you need is at winkhungerwalk.com.
There's lots of ways you can help out. And we'll all be there.
Absolutely. We'll all be there. Well, anyone driving to work this morning saw this fog, thick fog. This is a shot from I-75 this morning around mile marker 114 in Immokalee Road. And we also found thick fog from the Wink News Sanibel cam. You can't even see the causeway. That's in the distance right there. You'll have to trust us.
Yeah, it's there. This is Naples at the Village on Venetian Bay this morning. A lone boat disappearing into the dense fog there. And you couldn't see the water driving over this bridge in Port Charlotte either.
And it was tough to see along Gladiolus in South Fort Myers today. Drivers taking it a little slower than usual. So, Jim, the question is, fog tomorrow as well?
Yeah, 2 more mornings, just as dense tomorrow. And get out of it by the weekend. But if you had to allow extra time this morning, here's what you're up against tomorrow morning. Visibility of less than 1 mile. Pretty much a quarter-mile visibility around the region this morning. I expect similar conditions early in the day tomorrow. So let's get out in front of this. Here we go. Second of 3 foggy mornings in a row. Tomorrow, fog, haze, 63 degrees. Factor that in to your wake-up weather plans. Now, if you have any evening plans, you may want to factor in a little bit of rain here and there. Most of the region will stay dry, but I am tracking some rain inland southwest Florida and near the coast of Collier and southern Lee. Let's take a look. Marco Island, Goodland, there's rain. Now, it's heavy in the orange and the reds, and this is going to continue to work its way a little farther west. So anybody who's on Marco right now, if that's you, be on the lookout for rain approaching in the next 10 minutes or less. Could overlap 951, Route 41. There was rain over downtown Naples. That has moved out into the Gulf of Mexico now. So you had some rain. Still some slick roads out there, but the rain has stopped over the downtown area. And rain that was falling from Pelican Bay northward has also exited. Still tracking a little bit of rain around Bonita Beach and Bonita Springs, right in there. Shouldn't last much longer. The heavier rain is in a thunderstorm. Here we go, white dots, lightning strikes right now due east of Immokalee and tracking toward Immokalee. So you're going to not only have some rain, you may have some thunder and lightning. So watch out for the dangerous lightning. Can catch you off guard this time of the year when we typically do not have a lot of lightning. But there it is, getting close to the downtown area of Immokalee, Lake Trafford, a little farther west. So for the evening period, rain in a few neighborhoods, partly cloudy and dry in others. Temperatures will stay in the 70s over the next few hours. Future tracks the rain for you. Most of that dissipating after 9 o'clock tonight, then a few reemerge in the wee hours of the morning near the Collier County coast. So an overnight shower, not out of the question. There's your fog layer again early in the morning. Low clouds, low ceiling, haze, high humidity, visibility of a quarter mile or less. At least the temperatures are mild and above average, the average 53, but that's not going to last beyond Saturday morning. Cold air is coming back, 44 the low Sunday morning. Monday morning, we start off at 43 degrees for the low temperature. Meantime, it's warm afternoons for a couple. 80 tomorrow after fog, 78 degrees on Friday after some fog early in the morning. And there you see some of that fog dissipating and turning into partly cloudy sky in the afternoon on Friday. Saturday is going to be a mostly sunny, less humid day after a cold front comes through early, but it's going to be a cool day. The high of 70, even cooler on Sunday at 67 degrees.
All right, thank you very much, Jim. Well, it only takes one to change your life forever. Explosive new research that uncovers how little it takes to get hooked on smoking.
Plus outrage over a controversial homework assignment. All new at 5:30, why students were asked to give good reasons for slavery.
And a 19-year-old gunned down by 2 masked men. The one clue police hope will help them track down the killers. Ahead at 5:30. A Wink News call for action consumer alert. The Charlotte County Sheriff's Office is warning you about how to keep your technology safe from scammers. Investigative reporter Lauren Sweeney joins us in the studio with how you can spot a tech scam.
Lois, they're known as tech traps when scammers try to convince you your computer is infected when it's really not. The scammers may pose as Microsoft or Apple and ask for money to fix the problem. Here's how you spot one of these scams. It often starts as a pop-up and may imitate a blue error screen. It will ask you to call a toll-free number and threatens you may lose information or data if you don't call immediately. Remember, Microsoft or Apple will never ask you to call. Something like this happens to you, report it to the Federal Trade Commission. And right now, the FTC and the Florida Attorney General are actually investigating a Fort Myers-based tech company for this type of scam. I'm digging into that further in the coming weeks, and I'll bring you an update when I have it. I'm investigative reporter Lauren Sweeney, Wink News Now.
Lauren, thank you. A woman rushes out of her crumbling home. What might be the cause and why she can't return home? Just ahead.
New on Wink News at 6, students and buses on our streets later in the morning. A high school student is on a mission to move school start times. She says it could benefit everyone. All new on Wink News at 6.
Wink News, now back with breaking news.
Breaking news at 5:30. Rescuers frantically work to find survivors after deadly mudslides consume parts of California. Look at all the mud flowing here. You can see they have to enter homes through the roof a lot of times to get in. At least 15 people are dead. More than 20 people are still missing in all of this. Homes are left in ruin, too. Piles of trees and damage everywhere. Look at this, too. The mud line, you can see right where the mud flowed. It was toppling through the neighborhoods, going right through the houses. The destruction seems to be endless. More than 100 homes destroyed at this point. More aerial photos here show homes just reduced to rubble and lots of trees. Others were just completely swept away. Wink News reporter Chris Martinez takes us through the devastation.
It's a race against time for families searching for missing loved ones.
Calling out her name all night long.
These are all homes.
Emergency crews are still looking for more than a dozen people missing since Tuesday's deadly mudslides. The Coast Guard helped rescue this family of 5, including a newborn and 2 young children trapped in their Santa Barbara County home.
Get out of here, go!
Seconds after warning a driver,
Oh my God, Mom!
Marco Farrell caught this dramatic wave of debris crashing down his Montecito street. His family was able to stay safe. Bulldozers are working non-stop to clear mud and rubble off the 101 freeway.
Here in Burbank, another massive mudslide sent dirt and debris flowing through this neighborhood, damaging a number of homes.
The rushing of the mud and water and the power was amazing.
Heidi Donato saw water more than 5 feet deep rush past her house.
There was cars washing down, power lines washing down, huge boulders coming down, huge trees coming down.
The widespread destruction could take months to clean up.
Chris Martinez, Wink News Now.
And the death toll is expected to continue to go up. Rescuers say this is the worst mudslide they have ever seen.
Right now, the search is on for masked men who killed a 19-year-old. It happened overnight on Porto Chico Road in Northport. That's just north of US 41 near South Biscayne Drive. Northport police say 2 men entered the home and shot and killed Trent Thomas. They believe the suspects then took off in a silver minivan. Neighbors nearby say they're worried for their safety.
Scary. I mean, I'm well protected. I have 3 dogs, so I'm not too worried about that part, but it's just, you wake up in the morning and you're not expecting to come out here and see a bunch of, action and stuff. It's just strange.
Several other people were in the home at the time of the shooting. Police believe this was a targeted shooting and that the public is not in any danger. A not guilty plea in a case where video shows a shark forcibly dragged behind a speeding boat. These men entered guilty pleas of today to the animal cruelty charges this morning, and we want to warn you again that you may find the images disturbing. The charges are the result of a 4-month-long investigation into this video. This video you see shows the shark being dragged behind the boat, the 3 men watching it laughing at the shark, which is on a rope, violently bobbing up and down.
A woman is forced out of her home because of a possible sinkhole here. First responders found these cracks in the foundation of this Palm Harbor home overnight. Engineers need to inspect the home now to see if the possible depression is a sinkhole causing all of this. Officials say the walls are separating about a ½ inch every half hour. The woman inside the home says she woke up to all sorts of strange noises and then called 911. Democratic senators say Russia is meddling in the affairs of countries all across Europe. Congressional Democrats released a new report warning of Russian interference throughout the continent. The report says that even as some Western democracies are responding with countermeasures, President Trump has offered no strategic plan, they say, to bolster U.S. defenses.
Right now, the U.S. is exploring new theories about what made U.S. diplomats in Cuba severely sick last year. The U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee held a hearing on Tuesday to review the incident and the investigation. The State Department now says it's considering whether it was a viral attack. Canadian diplomats and their family members were also affected. A new FBI report shows no evidence for the initial theory of a sonic weapon.
Another GOP lawmaker won't seek re-election. California Representative Darrell Issa says this is his last term. Issa's decision is the latest in a string of GOP lawmakers who have decided to retire. Democrats are working to reclaim the U.S. House by winning crucial seats in the midterm elections. Issa led the investigation into the deadly attacks on diplomats in Benghazi.
New developments, death threats, locked down a Louisiana school board building, and outrage over a teacher's arrest that was caught right here on camera. Middle school language arts teacher Deshaya Hargrove spoke about a raise for the superintendent and low teacher pay moments before this arrest. She was handcuffed and escorted off school district property. Officials say threats have come from as far away as South America, Australia, and England. Teachers in the district plan to hold a rally supporting Hargrove tomorrow. New tonight, a giant chunk of ice fell from the sky and just crushed this car. You can see the large chunk of ice decimated the trunk of that car. The icicle dropped from a two-story building in Manhattan. Luckily, the driver was not inside, but he managed to see how he dodged danger.
I was like lucky and unlucky at the same time, depending on how you see it. Yeah, so this is very random and crazy.
The New Jersey driver says his car was the only one hit out of a long line of cars parked right by him.
I think lucky wins out over
Oh,
unlucky
my
in that
goodness,
situation,
yes,
not to be in
yes.
there. The largest auto parts recall in U.S. history is growing. Now, Toyota and Honda are recalling more than 1 million additional cars across the country to replace defective and potentially deadly Takata airbag inflators. The recall covers 2010 to 2013 Corollas, Matrixes, RAV4s, Scion, XBXs, and Lexus IS cars. It also covers the 2013 Siennas and the 2009 Yaris. This is the third time in a week that more cars were added to this recall. At least 20 people have died worldwide and more than 280 were hurt because of the defective car part. Dealers say they'll contact you with replacement information.
Drug prices are too high. That's according to President Trump's pick for health secretary. Alex Azar is a former pharmaceutical and government executive, and he talked about the cost of prescription drugs during his Senate confirmation hearing Tuesday. He said he's committed to lowering costs, but could not give an example of doing so when he worked in the industry. Azar says he favors focused negotiations, such as when the government is buying a large quantity of a particular drug. If confirmed, he would replace Tom Price, who resigned after reports surfaced that he was taking private charter flights at taxpayer expense. Slaughtered and left in a field. What investigators suspect is the sick motive for killing dozens of horses.
And a questionnaire asking students about the benefits of slavery. The homework assignment that outraged parents. All new right after the break.
I'm tracking light rain near Clewiston and Moorhaven, getting closer to LaBelle, and a thunderstorm right on the doorstep of Immokalee when we come back.
All new at 5:30, a homework assignment sparks backlash. A teacher asked students to list 3 good reasons for slavery and then 3 bad ones. This is at a Wisconsin Christian school. Wake News reporter Brett Lemoyne spoke to one parent who said she was shocked and offended.
On Monday, 4th grade students at Our Redeemer Lutheran School were handed a group assignment in English class. The question, give 3 good reasons for slavery and 3 bad reasons.
It's highly offensive and insensitive. I was in shock. I couldn't believe that they had sent something like that home.
Tramika Brown Berry is the mother of a 9-year-old boy in that class.
Not only just my son was in an awful position, but also the students who weren't black, because it's that sort of mentality of not being able to see from another's perspective and only seeing through your lens. That's what's dangerous. That's what keeps racism going.
School principal Jim Van Dellen declined to speak with us on camera, but admits the assignment was out of line. In a letter sent home to parents and students Tuesday, Van Dellen says the purpose of the assignment was not in any way to have students argue that any slavery is acceptable. He says the assignment is no longer part of the curriculum, something Van Dellen says was intended to spark debate in class.
And for it to be a Christian school, they could have said something like, what are 3 good things that we can do to prevent slavery from happening?
The principal is vowing to better communicate sensitive subjects being discussed in class with parents before presenting it to students. Brownberry says this homework should be a lesson to us all, and the reason she posted it online.
Speak up, tell your story, voice your opinion, because that is how you go about change. And that's what I was trying to model for my son.
Principal said he would meet with that parent face-to-face today. It's not clear if the teacher will face discipline. We've posted this story on the Wink News Facebook page. It's the very top story on the page right now. You can share what you think about this homework assignment in the comments section.
A warning right now after a woman died from eating raw oysters. Jeanette LeBlanc was crabbing with her friends and family on Louisiana's coast when she was infected with flesh-eating bacteria. She died months after eating them. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says eating raw oysters can increase the chance you will get sick. Experts say these sicknesses are rare, but it recommends cooking oysters before eating them.
Microsoft is making your computer safer, but it's also slowing it down. Microsoft just issued an update that fixes vulnerabilities revealed by chip makers last week. The security holes could allow hackers access to your files. Microsoft's update also slows down your machine. The company says Windows 10 users shouldn't notice much of a difference. However, if you run Windows 8 or below, you will see your computer slow down after this update.
New uniforms to stop hives, wheezing, and vertigo. Land's End is making new uniforms for American Airlines. The current ones are causing health problems. The new uniforms will begin testing in October, but won't be available to all employees until late next year.
Getting your takeout through a self-driving car. Ford just announced a partnership with Postmates to test deliveries in self-driving cars. Many details of the partnership are not clear, such as exactly where and when these deliveries will take place. The company says it will choose Postmates customers at random to participate here. The tests are scheduled to begin by the end of March. If you have a consumer problem, Wink News can help. You can reach us 24/7 online at winknews.com. Just click on the call for action link and submit your complaint there, or give us a call, 800-795-9465. Remember to leave us a daytime telephone number.
Think twice before you light up. Why new research says even trying a cigarette could get you hooked.
Let's get you live to the Wink News Sky Cam now, right over downtown Fort Myers, and look at that. The sun setting behind the clouds, kind of in between the clouds and the water. There's rain inland, though. Wink News is the Weather Authority. Chief Meteorologist Jim Farrell's tracking it for us.
Tracking rain in southwest Florida. Well, we were expecting a few rain areas today. If you were watching us yesterday, these come as no surprise. Right on the coast of Collier, there you go, Marco Island. It's raining again. You had some rain about an hour ago. This is a brand new rain area. In fact, the white dot obviously indicating a lightning strike from our lightning tracker network. So this is a thunderstorm. There's not a lot of lightning here, but lightning nonetheless. The heaviest rain is about to push in from east to west. So coastal Collier by Marco and Goodland. There's the rain in a thunderstorm. A few showers around Moorhaven right now. Clewiston looks pretty dry. Also some rain along State Road 80. It'll have a chance to push in toward LaBelle. So I'm going to give it 20 to 30 minutes, LaBelle. A little bit of that rain, if it holds together, will be in your part of the county. But this is the biggest rain area on the map right now, and in the region we're tracking a thunderstorm. White dots here indicating lightning strikes in heavy rain east and southeast of downtown Immokalee. Get you in close. Let's zoom in, and there you go. Here's the downtown area, and it's knocking on the door. Some light rain will be followed by some moderate to sometimes heavy rain. It's a slow-moving rain area, so you could pick up 2/10, maybe even more than a 1/4 inch of rain in that thunderstorm. Temperatures are mild. Mid-70s inland, upper 70s close to the coast, except for the Collier coast. Had some rain, low 70s there. Port Charlotte, you're at 78, one of the warmer readings of the moment. 64% relative humidity, and what a pretty view. One of several we have around the region developing right now. This is from the Hyatt Regency at Coconut Point, and of course we're looking toward the west, and we've got a few clouds here and there. Sanibel Causeway looking A-OK as the sun sets over the Gulf of Mexico. Pretty sunset shots are up for grabs if you have your camera or your phone handy. Meantime, in the morning, fog is going to be an issue again. We had visibility of 1/4 mile or less this morning. Same setup It'll be calm, it will be humid, and it will be foggy. Allow extra time if you're going to be up near sunrise. In the afternoon, just about as warm as it was today, with high temperatures near 80 degrees. So fog in the morning, then some sunshine, and 80 with an isolated shower tomorrow. So another chance for an isolated shower on Friday. Then that's it for rain, because a cold front comes through in the wee hours of the morning Saturday. Lower humidity, drier air, and only near 70 degrees for the high temperature. If it gets there, it won't be there long. Most of the region could have high temperatures in the 60s on Saturday and Sunday and Monday, and again near 70 on Tuesday.
All right, Jim, thank you. A traffic alert. You may have to find another way to work in the morning tomorrow. What you need to know about a large-scale training exercise and your morning commute coming up at 6.
One try is all it takes. A new study shows some people can become addicted to smoking after just one cigarette. The study looked at more than 215,000 people, from teenagers to older adults. Wait News anchor Bob Erzik is in the studio to break down the findings.
Well, explosive new research shows more than 60% of you who take that first puff will go on to become daily smokers. Despite declining smoking rates in the U.S., 36.5 million adults are still regular cigarette smokers. The study, published in the journal Nicotine and Tobacco Research, also looked at e-cigarettes. The CDC reports that more than 16 million Americans live with a disease caused by smoking. That includes cancer, heart problems, stroke, and diabetes.
It doesn't mean that these people are hooked for life, but they will progress to daily smoking for at least a period of time.
It's a bad habit, it's a personal choice, and it's also very expensive.
People pledging to quit smoking is one of the top annual New Year's resolutions in both the U.S. and U.K. Chris?
All right, Bob, thank you. New tonight, Florida lawmakers want to stop credit reporting agencies from charging you for credit freezes when your personal information is compromised. A bill introduced today would eliminate fees of up to $10 that are charged when a data breach victim wants to temporarily freeze their credit. Supporters of the bill say the charge is an extra hassle for someone who just had their identity stolen.
$10 charge to put a hold on these accounts is an undue burden, and I think I would add that it's also offensive. And so this effort will remediate that and put consumers first.
Florida would join Indiana, South Carolina, Maine, and North Carolina in banning that fee if it's passed, if it would go into effect in July.
One of the world's largest toy manufacturers is paying out hundreds of thousands for a massive data breach affecting children. VTech is paying $650,000 to the U.S. Federal Trade Commission. The settlement involves a 2015 data breach that failed to secure the personal data of more than 500,000 children. According to the lawsuit, the company violated the Children's Online Privacy Protection Rule by collecting data from kids under the age of 13.
Actor James Franco says sexual misconduct allegations against him are not true. Following his win at the Golden Globes, a number of women went on social media to accuse him of sexual misconduct. Actress Violet Paley tweeted that Franco pushed her head down in a car toward his exposed groin. Last night, Stephen Colbert asked the actor about the controversy on the CBS Late Show.
The things that I heard that were on Twitter are not accurate, but I completely support people coming out and being able to have a voice.
Franco also said, though, if there's restitution needed, he'll make it. The New York Times canceled a panel discussion tonight featuring the actor because of the controversy. Pennsylvania's first transgender elected official is working to change the status quo there. Raven Mathern was one of 3 Democrats to propose removing gender pronouns from written rules. The Connecticut city of Stamford is replacing the pronouns he and she with specific titles, like president and clerk, for example. Stamford's city board passed the measure unanimously with 1 abstention.
New information, STEM workers are earning more than ever, but not in Northport and Cape Coral. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. In a Wallet Hub survey, Northport was ranked second to last in cities for STEM workers to get jobs. Cape Coral finished in the bottom 10, too. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics says STEM jobs will expand more than any other occupation through 2024. And let's get you a live look from Miami Beach right now. Ooh, look at that pretty sky. A new report says raising a family in Florida isn't the best idea. The recent Wallet Hub study ranks Florida 32 out of 50 in states to raise one. The Sunshine State scored poorly in areas like affordable housing and divorce rates. But Florida did score well in one area, and that's family fun.
With pictures like that?
Yes, and beaches. Maintenance work will close part of a large dog park in Charlotte County, and Denver Regional Park is located on San Casa Drive in Englewood. The large dog park is closed from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Monday, January 15th for maintenance. The small dog and agility areas will stay open.
Tonight is your chance to give input on a new park. Lee County wants you to weigh in on plans for the Joel Agri-Eco Park slated for Lehigh Acres. The meeting is tonight at 6:30. It'll go over the proposal for the 30-acre park off of Joel Boulevard. It's happening at the Bayshore Fire Station from 6:30 to 7:30. The new park would include an outdoor classroom where visitors will learn about agriculture in urban settings. It'll also have trails, picnic areas, and bathrooms. A dumping ground for dead horses discovered in Florida.
A disturbing theory behind the gruesome discovery, all new after the break.
New right now, a horrific discovery. The remains of 30 dead horses found in a field. This is Hialeah. Authorities say the horses were not killed there, but dumped in the area. A warning, a lot of you are going to find the details of this story disturbing. Wink News reporter Riel Creighton explains how the horses were found.
Right here, Animal cruelty investigator Rachel Taylor showing us what they found.
We found site after site after site.
This roadside in Hialeah turned dumping ground.
We found 3 legs. Every leg was stripped of the meat.
Most of it too graphic to show on camera. Dozens of horses and their parts all in various stages of decomposition.
You've got horse hooves, bones, hips. I mean, these have obviously been here for a long time.
Taylor says they were alerted to the gruesome find by a woman feeding stray dogs in this remote area, who noticed one of them gnawing on something, a horse leg. The most recent kill, she suspects, just 2 days old.
Infuriating, frustrating.
Taylor works as an investigator for the nonprofit Animal Recovery Mission, trying to stop the slaughter of animals. In a brief walk just up this road, in just hours, she says they've discovered about 20 to 30 dead horses, almost all of them next to these feed bags.
We just slashed them open, and then it was tails and hooves and skulls.
She says often killed for their meat, but evidence nearby shows some of them were likely used in ritual sacrifice, calling this one of the worst cases she's ever seen.
They're in every couple of feet. It's like this whole area is just a graveyard. That's what's alarming to me.
Police say they're looking into whether this is part of a satanic ritual.